Good morning, students. Today we are just going to see what is polymerase chain reaction (PCR). Before getting to the topic, let me introduce myself. I am J.M. Nigandan, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Biotechnology, JPR Engineering College, Tamil Nadu. Okay, let's see what is PCR. So PCR is a reaction, polymerase chain reaction, okay, so which involves a repeated cycle of DNA denaturation and amplification. Okay, so as a result we are getting many copies of DNA. That is polymerase chain reaction. With the help of polymerase enzyme, we are just going to repeat the cycle of strand separation, annealing and extension. Okay, continuously repeating these cycles, we can able to get many copies of DNA. Okay, why we to go for PCR? What is the necessary in it? Okay, so why we are just going for PCR is to get the more copies. Okay, so what is the conventional method? So conventionally we are using bacterial clones for amplifying our DNA. So it will take longer time, so you have to just identify your gene of interest and you have to just make a recombinant DNA that is then introduced into the host cells. After introducing, you have to just incubate it overnight, so it is a time consuming and it is a laborious. So we go for PCR. So within an hour time, okay, we can able to get million copies of DNA. Okay, who invented this PCR machine? So this PCR was invented by Kary Mullis in 1984. So for that he has awarded Nobel Prize for chemistry in 1993. So this pictures clearly shows he got a Nobel Prize for chemistry for the invention of PCR machine. Now let's see some basic steps involved in PCR. So there are three basic steps involved in PCR. The first one is thermal denaturation. Second one is primer annealing. Third one is extension or polymerization. So in the first step, thermal denaturation, your double stranded DNA at high temperature is hydrogen bond will get breakdown and separate into two single stranded DNA. Okay, so this is because of high temperature, the hydrogen bond will broken down and become two single stranded DNA. Then the second step is primer annealing. So once the strand separates, you have to reduce the temperature to 55 to 65 degrees Celsius. So at this 55 to 65 degrees Celsius, your primer is a small stretch of DNA which can go and anneal with your template DNA, that is your target DNA that is previously denatured one. Okay, happens, why not that double stranded DNA cannot anneal with each other? Because it is larger in size, so it cannot anneal with each other. Okay, so primers are smaller in size, which is about 25 to 35 base per long. Okay, so it can easily anneal with the target DNA, but whereas your template DNA which is of longer size cannot re-anneal. Okay, so the next step is extension, that is polymerization. Okay, so we have to bring down the reaction temperature to 72 degrees Celsius. So at 72 degrees Celsius, polymerase enzymes will be activated. So the activated polymerase enzymes will bind to this complex, template DNA primer complex, and initiate the elongation process. Okay, so your DNA new strand synthesis will occur. So this is the reaction conditions. So first step is denaturation, that have to be takes place at 94 degrees Celsius for 60 seconds. Then the second step is annealing, 55 to 65 degrees Celsius for 30 seconds. The final step is extension, so 72 degrees Celsius for 1 minute if the product is less than 500 base per long, but if it is greater than that, we have to just increase the time. Okay, so these conditions and the timing, that is the temperature and timings, will vary from DNA of interest and what enzymes you have used. Okay, it is vary from different purposes. Okay, So this is an PCR machines, we call it as thermocycler. Okay, PCR is just a reaction, whereas these reactions have to be carried out in an instrument called thermocycler. Okay, what are the basic components involved in this polymerase chain reaction? The first one is template DNA. We call it as target DNA. In what sequence you need to amplify, that is target DNA. The next one is primers. We have to use pair of primers called forward primers and reverse primers. Both will anneal with your single strand, that is each strand of your DNA. Then DNTPs. DNTPs is deoxynucleotide triphosphate. It is just a building block of DNA. Okay. Then the fourth one is polymerase enzymes. So here the DNA polymerase enzyme should be thermally stable. Why? Because we are just doing the reactions at high temperature. So your polymerase have to withstand at high temperature. So you have to use thermostable DNA polymerase enzymes. So we'll see it what are the different type of commercially available polymerase enzymes later. Okay. Then the next one is cofactors, because cofactors plays a major role in activating your DNA polymerase. So divalent cations, example Mg2 plus we have to use, which will activate, which act as a cofactor and activate the DNA polymerase. Then buffer. So buffer will just maintain the pH and the ionic strength of the enzymes. Ionic strength which is required for the enzymes to activate. Then in addition to that, okay, you can also use RNAs. If you have any RNA contaminations during your isolation step, isolation of template DNA, if any RNA contamination is present, you have to use RNAs to digest all the RNA contaminations prior to this reaction. Okay, polymerases. So the polymerase what we mostly use in this PCR is Thermus aquaticus polymerase enzyme. Okay, that is Taq polymerases. So Taq polymerases is isolated from Thermus aquaticus bacteria in the hot spring in USA. So in addition to this Taq polymerases, other polymerases are sometimes used in these reactions. Examples TMA polymerases, Fu polymerases, deep-vent polymerases. These polymerases are isolated from different organisms. Say for example Thermotoga maritima, Pyrococcus furiosus or Pyrococcus oocyes. Okay, which have these enzymes have proofreading activity, 3' to 5' exonuclease activity. So these enzymes cannot be used in mutations because it have the nuclease proofreading capacity. So it Taq polymerase lack this activity, so you can use it for various purposes. Okay, then the primer, pair of primers we have to use. So the primer should have some characteristics. So the primer should be a single stranded one, single stranded oligonucleotide DNA. So oligonucleotide means it varies from 25 bases to 35 bases. Okay, the melting temperature of this primer should be 52 to 65 degrees Celsius, and it should lack some activities. So it should not have any repeated complementary sequence. Say for example in the first picture you can easily see it is a one single primers of complement with the ends. So it will just form the hairpin loops. If hairpin loop form, it is difficult for the polymerase to access the D primer and extend the reaction. So we have to avoid this hairpin loop formations, and also we have to avoid self-dimer formations as well as dimer formations. If you are using forward and reverse primer, it should not have any complements. Okay, if it have complementary DNA, so it will bind with each other during the second step, that is annealing. It will bind each other, and it prevent the binding of primers with your template strands. So our aim is we have to design a primer in such a way that it should exactly bind with its complementary sequence in your template DNA. Okay, it should have lower quantity of GC. Okay, if higher quantity of GC, it may lead to mispriming. Okay, and also it is difficult that we have to increase the temperature also if we have high GC content. Okay, then melting point. Okay, melting temperature. So what is melting temperature? Melting temperature is a temperature at which half of your DNA strands become single stranded and half become double stranded. Okay, that is melting temperature, which is different from denaturation temperature. Melting temperature is entirely depend upon the composition of DNA. Okay, that is what bases are present. If it have high GC contents, it's okay, increase the temperature. Okay, if GC content is more, melting temperature will also be more because of a triple hydrogen bond. The triple hydrogen bond, it is difficult or it requires a higher temperature to break down the triple hydrogen bond instead of double hydrogen bond between the A and T bases. Okay, then annealing temperature. Annealing temperature is a temperature at which your primers will bind to a template DNA. Okay, so it can be easily calculated from the melting temperature of your primer, which is different from this Tm. Please carefully note, it is different from this Tm. So T annealing is equal to T melting point of your primer minus 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, if you know the melting temperature of your primer, it is easy to arrive the annealing temperature. Okay, let's see the cycles. Okay, so as I said, there are 3 basic steps in polymerase chain reaction. The first one is denaturation, in which the double stranded DNA is get into the single stranded one. After that, your primers annealed with its complementary sequence on their template DNA, and at 72 degrees Celsius, your polymerase assess this dimer and elongate it. So at the end of the 5 cycles, you will get 2 double stranded DNA. So in the second cycle, these 2 double stranded DNA will just separate and get amplified and produce 4 strands. Okay, at the end of a third cycle, you will get 8 strands. So okay, only at the third cycle we can able to get your target DNA alone, double stranded target DNA. Okay, whereas in the first 2 cycle you cannot get your double stranded target DNA, but only in the third cycle we will get double stranded target DNA. So we will see the animated version. I will show you some animations how this target DNA alone will be produced. Okay, at the end of the third cycle, at the end of this sessions, I will just show you. Okay, here is the animation of PCR cycle. Just listen to it.
Polymerase chain reaction, or PCR, uses repeated cycles of heating and cooling to make many copies of a specific region of DNA. First, the temperature is raised to near boiling, causing the double-stranded DNA to separate or denature into single strands. When the temperature is decreased, short DNA sequences known as primers bind or anneal to complementary matches on the target DNA sequence. The primers bracket the target sequence to be copied. At a slightly higher temperature, the enzyme Taq polymerase, shown here in blue, binds to the primed sequences and adds nucleotides to extend the second strand.
First cycle gets over.
This completes
Now
the first
second
cycle.
Starts.
In subsequent cycles, the process of denaturing, annealing, and extending are repeated to make additional DNA copies.
So at the end of the second cycle, you will get single strand target DNA sequence.
After 3 cycles, the target sequence defined by the primers begins to accumulate.
You are getting
After 30 cycles, as many as 1 billion copies of the target sequence are produced from a single starting molecule.
So from this cycle onwards, your double stranded DNA alone will exponentially start increasing. Okay, so how much amount of DNA is amplified after certain cycles? How we can just calculate this? We can just calculate with the help of this formula 2 power n, where the n represents the number of cycles. If the cycle is one, initially if you are just assume if you are given one DNA, one double stranded DNA, at the end of first cycle you will get 2 double stranded DNA. At the end of 4th cycle you will get 16 double stranded DNA. Likewise, you can just look at the table column here. At the end of 30th cycle we will get this much amount of double stranded DNA. Another formula is this one, xn equal to x naught into 1 plus e power n. So here xn is the amount of PCR product after nth cycle, and x naught is initial amount of DNA you have added into the reaction mixer, and E represents amplification efficiency. This amplification efficiency is entirely depend upon what kind of instruments, what kind of thermocyclers you have used, and N represent the cycle number. Or say for example, if the efficiency is very like 0.1%, okay, 0.1% if it gets varies, okay, it has a greater impact on the product. Say for example, 0.1% variation in efficiency will create 5-fold difference in the final ratio of PCR product. Here I have just given some example. If the efficiency is 9%, if initially you have added 100 double stranded DNA, so at the end of the 30th cycle you have obtained 2.3 into 10 power 10 copies of double stranded target DNA. Okay, if the efficiency is reduced, that is if the efficiency is 0.8, okay, reduced by 0.1 difference, okay, the same conditions, so at the end of the 30th cycle you are getting 4.6 into 10 power 9 double stranded DNA. So look out, it is 5-fold decrease, okay, the amount of product is 5-fold decrease due to the decrease in efficiency, okay, amplification efficiency. Okay, what are the advantages and the disadvantages in using the PCR? The advantages is it is more accurate. There is more accurate and more sensitive techniques. Okay, you can able to detect even the trace amount of samples, okay, trace amount of DNA, and also it is highly reliable and it is very fast. That is why for this COVID for the detection of SARS-CoV-2 virus, we are completely rely on PCR, RT-PCR, reverse transcriptase PCR. Okay, that is one type of PCR. We will see it later. Okay, what are the different type of PCRs available? Okay, what is the disadvantages in it? Okay, disadvantage is we cannot able to distinguish whether the organism is live or dead. Okay, that is one disadvantage. Another one is even the presence of small traces of contaminations will affect the efficiency and that will affect the amplification. Okay, that is disadvantage. And some limitations also there. Okay, we are mainly focused on application. Okay, so application is worthy. Okay, so that but there are some limitations also. So these are all some of the limitations. Example, okay, only in the exponential phase you can able to calculate how much amount of DNA originally you have added to the samples. So this PCR, as you know well, the PCR is used for quantitative purpose. Okay, so only in the exponential phase only you can able to quantify the amount of DNA originally present in your sample. And another one is inhibitors and the reagents limitations and the accumulation of pyrophosphates. So during the ATP additions, so PPI will get released. Okay, so the large amount of PPI will also leads to will develop a contaminations and it will affect access of your polymerase enzymes to the template DNA. Okay, so these are all some of the limitations in using PCR. Let's see what are the different types of PCR available. Okay, amplification, fragment length polymorphic PCR, okay, allele specific PCR, allele specific, assembly PCR, asymmetric PCR, colonies PCR, okay, helicase dependent, hot start, inverse, nested, each have some purpose. Okay, real time PCR, molecular beacons, or you can use SYPR dye or Tagman assays or reverse transcriptase PCR we can use. These are different type of PCR. We will see it in the next video. Then application of PCR. It have wide range of applications. I have just given only the small thing. Okay, small main applications. Say for example, this PCR is used to classify the organisms. This PCR is used in sequencing. The whole genome sequencing. This after obtaining the sequence, we can able to easily find out what organism it is, or the it is also used to identify the organisms by using specific molecular markers. Okay, if you identify the molecular markers, the molecular markers can be confirmed with the help of PCR machines, and it is used in genotyping. It is used in mutagenesis. We can just be able to create point specific mutations with the help of this PCR. Okay, either you can delete or you can insert in new bases, okay, into the target DNA. And it is also used in drug discovery and gene expression studies, prenatal diagnosis, whether genetic changes or genetic disease, okay, you can easily identify. And it is used in fingerprints of major role in forensic sciences, and also it is used in gene therapy. Okay, so in these are the reference I have used. You can refer principles of gene manipulations by Golden Primrose, okay, or molecular cloning, understanding the genetic revolutions by David Clark, okay, or you can refer any other molecular biotechnology books. Okay, thank you. We will see about the different type of PCRs in the next video session.